Hello and welcome to the WildOnes Book Club. I hope that dishwasher isn't loud in the background. I might go close the door just in case. So the winner of the poll was the Witchstone. So I will be reading that in this vlog. In regards to the indie bookstore I went to, that was the Brunswick Street store, which was also fabulous, and it's in a great location in a busy hive of shops and cafes and stores. But the one that I ended up selecting was Her Body and Other Parts by Carmen Maria Machado. Once again, it was a very bright cover that caught my eye, and then this spliced woman's body. So I'll read the back. A prize-winning, genre-bending collection of short stories that has already achieved cult status. It is unique, unsettling, and totally original. Carmen Maria Machado demolishes the borders between magical realism and science fiction, comedy and horror, fantasy and fabulism. Bodies become inconsequential, humans become monstrous, and anger becomes erotic. A dark, shimmering slice into womanhood, Her Body and Other Parties is wicked and exquisite. So let's have a look at what the rating is on Goodreads. Go around, Blue. I know the door's shut, but you can go around.
Go round! Go round!
Bluebell, go around. Okay, so that's pretty decent. 3.84 stars. Now, it is always a bit of a gamble with a short story collection of if I'll like it, but that is promising. I'll see if anybody I know has read it. So Riley rated it 3 stars. Lala rated it 5 and Leah rated it 3 stars. It's a bit of a mixed bag there, but that will be the other book that I read for this vlog. I am going out today to see my cousin who was overseas, so I can't wait to see her and catch her up on everything. I then have to go to Mecca to return that lip gloss, and I'm still chatting to Beauty. So we are just sending copious voice texts every single day, and we're just really getting along. She's an INFP, which is very similar to an INFJ. So we're just like instant besties. We're keeping the flirting to a minimum because, like I said, she was wanting to just start with friendship because she's just newly out of the closet, and that's absolutely fine by me. So we're just going to keep it chill, and then we'll meet on Monday for a date and see what the vibe is. Is it just a kindred spirit friendship connection, or is there attraction there? So we will see, but at the moment, I'm just loving chatting to her. It's a blast, and she's just a lovely human being. So I'll see you guys once I have started reading. It'll be when I return. It'll not be now. So I'll start reading later today. Okay, so I have read the first chapter of The Witchstone. It's pretty funny. He was just in the subway and there was someone there that was trying to, con people by guessing where the ball is under the cups. And obviously he outed them to everybody, like he beat him in his own game. And then he's just gone into headquarters and we're meeting some of the other demons, and supposedly an overseer is coming down and they don't understand why, but it's kind of humorous. They say some funny things every now and again. So nothing a lot has happened, but I like the writing style, and the sense of humor is quite funny. So we shall continue. Okay, so I just read the second chapter. So I'm on page 36. I won't update you with every chapter because it's a long book. But basically he's just had a work meeting and a performance evaluation where he's been found to be subpar. And unless he turns it around in 6 days, because Lucifer doesn't recognize the 7th day as part of the week, he will be turned into ooze and put back into the primordial slime. So it's got to do with his curse that he is in charge of. So these demons are in charge of different family curses. This chapter was still funny in parts, but it was quite gross and disgusting. So there was a bit of demon on demon violence in this one. But I'll update you, I think, once I'm about 100 pages in. I think is a decent amount. Okay, so I have read Don't Touch It Blue. Please, please don't touch it. No. Okay, so I have read 100 pages. So Laszlo the demon has now contacted the family whose curse he is the keeper of and has told them, we need to break your curse pronto because in 6 days, your curse will then be unbreakable and I will be dead. So now he's given them the list on how to break the curse. They need to find so many items that they can do that. So we're mostly also focusing on one of the daughters, Maggie, who currently works as a sin eater and is exhibiting signs of the curse on her body. So her family end up turning into these sort of like amorphous blobs that like to eat people. Her dad is well on his way to his final form, so they really are against the clock. And she's just found out that anyone who dies while under a curse does not get to go to heaven and have peace. They are in eternal torment. So they also need to break the curse for all of their ancestors that came before them. How am I feeling about it so far? It's okay. It's feeling like a 3.5 star. So it's been very sort of like info heavy at the moment, setting everything up. And I don't particularly like Maggie as a character. She's not a very happy lass, let's put it that way. Laszlo's great, but yeah, I'm not loving it yet. We'll see how we go. So I'll check in another 100 pages. Okay, so they just stopped in at a diner. And Maggie bought Laszlo a milkshake and he asked what size it is and she said medium. And he says, medium? Oh, for fuck's sake. Here's a life lesson, Maggie. Mediums are for indecisive pussies. Go big or go home. This is so gross. Oh my God. She just had a pustule burst on her elbow. She's turning into something gross and a worm came out. And she's just grabbed a pen and she shoved the pen into the hole, trying to get to the worm. And it's all the way in, and there's pus and blood everywhere. And now there's bone. Oh my God. Oh, and there's like a whole family of worms inside of her body. Oh, this is so gross. So I'm currently 200 pages in, and basically this is like a scavenger hunt and they're going all over the place to try and find these items to break the curse. They've just found out that their curse has been tampered with and there might be some bureaucratic things going on in the background, and the Witchstone on their property could actually be a magi encased in onyx, and a magi is a being from the Alexandrian period who was very deadly towards demons, so the demons try to wipe them out. But 2 are missing, and this might be one of them. So they're currently in Liechtenstein, where they were able to procure another item from their checklist, but one of their other items, a magical item, got broken. So now they're on their way to Rome to barter with a 5,000-year-old demon for help. Yeah, it's still feeling like a 3.5. I still don't mind it, but yeah, it's a bit of a treasure hunt situation going on. A bit of a still the Declaration of Independence, if you will, to break a curse. But yeah, lots of descriptions of what's happening to a body that were foul. So like body horror is high in this one. And really, being an animal isn't a bad thing. The trouble starts when humans pretend there's something else. What do you mean? Laws punishing natural instincts, governments and churches forcing people to be things they're not. It's hilarious, really. Billions of self-hating fools trudging through life believing their very existence is a sin. Everything's just another loyalty test to satisfy the demands of some touchy, all-powerful authority. Call me crazy, but God seems to have a lot in common with your average mean girl. And people accuse demons of being prideful. I forgot to mention the character Dimitri, who was a pawnbroker. He was one of my faves. And now my second favorite character is the Signora, the 5,000-year-old demon lady. Okay, so we've just found out that the Magi were actually demons who sort of rebelled against the hierarchical structure of the demon world, and they wanted to share forbidden knowledge with mortals, and they founded, I think, the Library of Alexandria, but the Lords of Hell preferred that humans didn't know that knowledge, so they hunted them down. So basically, like, the Magi were demons who were sort of like Prometheus and wanted to give, the light of knowledge to mankind, which is interesting. And then they've said how the 5 were destroyed. Leviathan devoured the warrior. Lilith and her harpies slew the judge. Mammon and Belphegor tore the scholar to pieces, while Belial's hounds tracked the shepherd to the astral plane and dragged him back to face judgment. The final Magus that the lords hunted down was the monk. He died alone, slain by an ambitious demon eager to claim a seat on the council. This demon pursued the monk into the Sahara, where they battled amongst the dunes. The sands melted to glass and great chasms split the earth. The monk was broken and their ashes scattered to the wind. The victor returned to hell, and the nobles hailed his conquest, for the monk was deemed among the strongest of the Magi. Lucifer had no choice but to reward this demon. Who was this demon? Grace Baal-Zebul. So it's, that's hilarious. It's Laszlo's daddy. The plot thickens, so it turns out that Daddy Dearest didn't actually slay the monk. He, instead, the Magi is entombed in the Witchstone like the other 2, so 3 are entombed, and that one is the one on the property of Maggie's family, and he cursed the family because that way, like, his secret is safe, and he's been the one who has been sabotaging her family to make sure that they cannot break the curse. And then he assigned his, like, shit kicker son to be the curse keeper because he knew his son wasn't going to help the family, like, break the curse at all whatsoever. Interesting. So Maggie's going nuts now. Laszlo. And now the Signora is talking to them. She has an item that can help them. She's going to help them break the curse. She also has one of the Witchstones. She's got the priestess demon in her one. She's, like, super cool. I like her a lot. All right, so I'm currently at page 274 of 422. Okay, so I have 100 pages left, and it's fun. It's like an adventure, and they're being chased by other demons, and there's a big showdown. It's got like a Jason Bourne-esque quality to it too. And they sought refuge in a church, and it turns out that, why do I keep forgetting his name? It's Laszlo, isn't it? That Laszlo could enter the church, which is very interesting. And they had this cool talk with a priest, and he gave them some relics that they needed for their spell. And now they've gotten themselves back to America, and he's taken them to headquarters. And one of the demons there, his best friend Clarence, who's been helping him this whole time, sort of like Julia Stiles did with Jason Bourne, is talking to her brother Lump because her brother came with them. I know I've been so spotty with telling you the details of the plot, but they're both speaking Tolkien's Elvish to each other. And it's super cute. And I don't know if there is going to be a romance between Maggie and Laszlo. She's a virgin, and her little worm thingies came out and tried to get her to mate with a man so that the curse could live on, that was a fun scene. But I don't know if there's actually going to be romance in this or not. Laszlo is a bit of a horn dog. He's a sexy guy that supposedly looks like Paul Newman. But it's interesting. I think there's a lot more going on. So there's 100 pages left, and I'll touch base with you when I'm down to 400, and then I'll record myself reading the last 22. Okay, so it says I've only got 50 pages left. I don't know how it can be 50 pages left because a lot of stuff's going down. So there's been some double crossing. Laszlo seems to have double crossed. I don't buy it. At the 11th hour, basically, all the demons is sort of like a Mexican standoff going on. The curse just needs one more component to break it and release the Magi. I think it's the contract that he made her mum sign her soul away for. That's what I think it is. I think that's a magical object, and that can be put in there. So it's really hectic, but we'll see. I'm gonna finish. Hey Blue, you're so fucking cute. You're so cute, man. We're gonna finish and see what happens. Oh, and Laszlo's dad's come as well. I was right. Laszlo is pulling a trick, and she's just caught on that the thing he has is also a magical item, the contract. She can still do it. Move, Maggie, move. Come on, Maggie. The dad's caught on that the contract can go into the thing. Oh no. Oh, he's going to get her to break it. What the fuck? What? Why? What? This is only 48 seconds. Oh my god. Oh my god, woman. So what's this guy going to do? I don't understand. He stopped everybody from fulfilling the curse. So Baal, Laszlo's dad, was sabotaging everybody, but now he's allowed the curse to be broken. Why? The monk robbed me of my vital... Okay, because he didn't actually defeat him properly. And people were saying he didn't actually kill him, so he just wants the rumors to be put to rest. To show that he's earned his place as a Duke of Hell, pretty much. Alright, he's just stabbed the thing. The Magi. The Grand Duke was devolving into something else. The Mighty Monk. Okay, so now he's slayed the monk proper, and he said also get the humans because they're saturated with magic and they'll make useful servants. Dad, you don't want these two, trust me. So Laszlo's trying to save them. Your Grace, I think something is... Okay, so Laszlo's boss has just been decapitated. So something else is coming. A horned skull. 12 feet tall. With a blade. The monk. So now there's a battle of the titans, basically. He's just given her one of the little spell magic tubes that they were using as weapons. So why is he giving it to her? So now she's just realized that, yes, the magic she has is the monk's magic. Oh no. Ah, he killed. So the dad Baal killed the monk. The overseer's headless body is now moving. So the monk's obviously transferred its magic across, now has a new fighter. We have to run. They start running. And she's looking for Laszlo. Okay, so now the monk is in Maggie. All of the dead ancestors' ghosts have also gone into her body. And now she's like supercharged. They're talking obviously some kind of demonic language. So now she's fighting Daddy. They're just parrying at the moment. I don't know where Laszlo is. He's going to go for her mother and her brother. Yep. He's got the brother. Her brother's falling from the sky. Her brother's lost a few teeth and broken his nose. Jesus. There's Laszlo also saying Jesus. So she's just told the monk, leave my body and like run and hide. And he didn't want to, but she's like, he's going to kill us anyway. At least you can survive. So she just crushed the last tube, and now it says that energy exploded from her body and the spirits within her, a screaming tsunami of rage and grief, a lust for vengeance against a demon who had tormented her family. The bill had come due for the price. So now Baal and Laszlo are gone. Her dad's back to normal because the curse is broken. They're going to go on the run. And she's just found a letter that was in a book. She thinks it must have been from Laszlo. Dear Maggie, if you're reading this, that means you're still kicking. Congrats. I hope I'm kicking too. But there's a pretty good chance I'm not. If that's the case, you should know I did something heinous to your toothbrush in Zurich. Just kidding, or am I? Let's get to it. Some shit went down tonight. Now that the smoke's cleared, I wanted you to know a few things. First and foremost, I'm a goddamn hero. Seriously. Here I am, missing a vital organ. Instead of resting, I'm pushing through the pain to write a farewell letter. That goddamn priest ruined me. Anyway, all I request is that you sculpt a bust in my honor. Nothing big or expensive, styrofoam is fine. Second, I enjoyed my time with you.
Drakefords are expensive, but you're not all that bad. If Lump can stop speaking Elvish, I'd say the kid has a future. Liechtenstein needs him. Finally, let's talk about tonight's festivities. If things went smoothly, you probably hate me with a deep and abiding passion. I hurt you, and what's worse, I meant to. Everything I said out there was planned. Trusting bitch. That banker in Zurich, dumpsters, frat boys, all of it. Tough stuff, and I know it hit home. I'm a con man, Maggie, and the name of the game is observation. I've had 5 days to study you. I knew what would hurt, and I went there. I don't expect you to forgive me. In fact, when you found this letter, I'll bet you sat there looking all moody and wondered whether to open it. I'm right, aren't I? Anyway, I'm not asking for forgiveness because I'm not sorry, not even a little. I did what I had to do. All I'm asking is for you to understand why I did it. If you can do that, maybe one day we can mend our fences. I don't know what that means, but I read it in a poem somewhere, and I know that kind of shit impresses you. Maggie, I gotta run. You and your mum are getting weepy downstairs, and that means we're almost ready to roll. Good luck tonight. If I played my cards right, we both got what we wanted. If we didn't, and you're reading this, then you might be flying solo. That's okay, though. If anyone can land this plane, it's you. Adios, amiga. Laszlo. P.S. Get that necklace appraised. There's a guy on Broome Street who knows about these things. He may not remember you, but you remember him. That's Dimitri. And that's something to build on. She's got the Signora's necklace. Okay, I was going to say, if this ends without me knowing what happened to Laszlo, I'm going to write. I've got an epilogue 1 year later. So she's got a boss and she's got a job and she's writing stuff, so she must be at university. She's got a full tattoo sleeve of everything that they did, their whole quest. That's very cute. It was an inside joke. So cute. 13 million. That's how much she got for the necklace. Hot damn. Fuck me. I should have swiped it, Laszlo. She's dating that guy's number she got from Rome. Oh, they're just friends. Okay. Cool. Oh, yeah, he has illusion magic. Okay, so Laszlo's just given her a scroll that says that his dad is not going to get his vengeance on them. Okay, look, I still ship them. I know she's only 21 and he's like hundreds of years old. But that's the romantic in me. I can't help it. I'm like, you know, yeah, he can be the one to deflower her. But that, yeah, look, okay, how do I feel about it? How do I feel? It's definitely more than a 3.5. The beginning, though, was a bit slow, but once they were ping-ponging around, it sort of reminded me, too, of that movie, is it Angels and Demons? Da Vinci Code? It reminded me of that as well. It, like, reminds me of a lot of those kinds of movies. But it was fun in the end. Look, Maggie wasn't the best, though. She was a bit of a boring character. I understand she's gone through a lot. Obviously, Laszlo is extra, but I love extra characters. And like I said, I love the Signora. She rocks. Gotta love an old, powerful bitch. And Dimitri was a little sweet pawnbroker. He was a sweet little guy. Super rich as it turns out. Oh, I'd say it's a 4.25. It got me in the end. I got caught up in the adventure and the plot and the double scheming. And I knew Laszlo wasn't a bad guy. I was like, it's gonna look like he's a double crosser. But then as soon as he grabbed the contract from them, I remember them saying earlier in the book that he needed Signora to write the contract because that was a class 5 magical item. I was like, But yeah, that was fun. It was cool. It was gross. I could have done without the body horror. And then the gross part where she was, the curse was getting her to try and bang the dude in the bathroom. That was a bit vulgar and yuck. But otherwise, yeah, 4.25. So that was fun. I bet you that'll be turned into a movie or something. It felt that way. Like I said, it reminded me of a lot of different films. And I'm like, I feel like it was done on purpose. But I'm obviously not starting this today. I'm tired. I don't even know what time it is. What time is it? 7. Look, this took me a long time to read. I'll put the total page numbers up above, but that's longer than usual. I think what time did I start reading this? I'll have to check, but this took me a while to get through because I had to like keep track of everything that was going on. So yeah, I'm done. And I'll see you. I'll try and read this tomorrow. So how many pages? This is short stories though. 245. Yeah, so I should be able to read that tomorrow. I'll see you guys then. Okay, so I've just read the first story and it was called The Husband Stitch and it was 30 pages. I like the writing style. This one was about a woman and her boyfriend. There was a lot of sex in this. There's so much other sex. And it was just going through her life as a teen, rutting on the front lawn, walking down the aisle with his semen running down her leg. It's very descriptive in that way. She has a son, but throughout the story, she has a green ribbon around her throat and she told her husband that he cannot touch it. And naturally, he's just obsessed with it. She won't tell him why it's there and why he can't touch it. And you just go through her life in sort of fast forward. And then through it all too, she's telling you stories of like other women. And then at the end, she allows him to take the ribbon off and her head falls off. And yeah. Look, what would I rate that one? Like I said, I like the writing. The story itself didn't really do much for me, nor did the characters. So 3.5, I would say. And the husband stitch, for those who don't know, is after a woman gives birth, the husbands would ask the doctor to do an extra stitch if they've had their perineum cut to make them, tight like a virgin again. So that is what that is referring to. The next story is called Mothers. And once again, we are told too how wet she is. So all the women in this book are soaking wet, just so you know. It was a bit of a meh. Hey, Sylvie. I give it 2.5 stars. Once again, the writing's good, just nothing else about the story enraptured me. Okay, so I just read Especially Heinous, which is... it's basically Law and Order SVU with Benson and Stabler. And this is what it looks like. So I've got blue on me. So it'll have like an episode at the start and then like that little bit. So I'll read some to you. Secrets. The girls with bells for eyes tell Benson to go to Yonkers. Benson refuses and begins to burn sage in her apartment. Manhunt. Stabler has determined that he's not even a little bit gay. He swallows his disappointment. His mouth tastes like orange peel. And then I'll read like another one for you. Tragedy. Miles away from the precinct, a teenage boy and his 7-year-old sister drop dead in the middle of their walk home from school. When they are autopsied, bullets are pulled from the purple meat of their organs. Though there are no entrance wounds on either side of their bodies, the medical examiner is baffled. The bullets clink, 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 clink in the metal dish. I don't understand. Maybe there's like subtext in there that I'm just not understanding and not getting, but that was just like a whole bunch of random stuff. Like some of it felt like they were describing a case and then there were just like these fever dreamy bits and pieces, and then all of a sudden like Stabler has like a brother named E who looks exactly like him, and then another one, for example. Benson stays home with swine flu. Her fever reaches 104. She hallucinates that she is 2 people. She searches over the opposite pillow, years empty, and feels for her own face. The girls with bells for eyes try to make her soup, but their hands pass through the cupboard handles. I don't understand what I just read. I don't understand what I just read. I don't get it. What would I give that one? A 1.5. I don't see the point of it. I don't understand the point of it with Benson and Stabler and just rando, like little snippets, episodes. I don't know, bro. I don't know, bro. What is happening? So far, the first story has been my favorite. Let's hope it picks up. Okay, I just read Women Have Real Bodies. And in this one, I do love the rose petal on this. It's lovely. In this one, what's happening is women are turning sort of invisible, insubstantial. And you've got the main character who works at this dress shop. And it turns out that they're sort of sewing these invisible women into the dresses. And this woman is also sleeping with a lady whose mum is the one that's sewing the women into the dresses. So more sapphic, Sorry, Sylvie's got her thing. More sapphic romances. Not a lot happens. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's not a lot. In the end, she tries to emancipate the women from these dresses and like tears them apart, but the ghost women just sort of stay there, invisible, ghosty women. 3 stars, I guess. 3. Okay, so I just read 8 Bites, so trigger warning for eating disorder. In this one, you have a woman whose mother would only have 8 bites of dinner. 8 bites is all you need to taste a food. But no matter what, she couldn't stop herself at 8 bites. So she ends up getting bariatric surgery, I think is when they make your stomach smaller pretty much, so that the 8 bites is satisfying for her. And then she talks to her daughter. Her daughter is having a hard time accepting this because the daughter also had the same body as her mother. And she says to her mother, "Do you hate my body too? Because it looks like yours did." And then the woman ends up finding like this amorphous blob in the basement. And I don't know if it's meant to be a metaphor for her hunger, but she like kicks it and beats it. But then she ends up dying at 79 and the blob carries her away. So these are all really weird. It's very vague and weird. And like I said, could I sit here and attribute meaning to some of the stuff? Yes, but I can't be bothered. And I am tired, I will say that. But I don't want to try and pull meaning from something. I'm not in that mood. So like I said, maybe there's a subtext here and maybe they're metaphors and things of that nature, but just as face value stories, that one, they're not doing much for me. So I would say is a 3. Like I said, I really like her writing style, but just the stories themselves, the actual stories, not so much. So I've got, I think, 2 left, The Resident and Difficult at Parties. So I'm going to finish those off hopefully before my kids come back. And let you know my final thoughts. I did end up increasing my rating to a 4.5 for The Witchstone because I just did have a great time with it. So that was a 4.5. Okay, so I just read The Resident. You've got a woman who's gone up to an artist's residency in the woods, and she used to be a Girl Scout, and she misses her wife, and she doesn't really get along with the other artists, and it's sort of just her in her own head. And I'll read this bit to you. "It is my right to reside in my own mind. It is my right. It is my right to be unsociable, and it is my right to be unpleasant to be around. Do you ever listen to yourself? This is crazy. That is crazy. Everything is crazy to you. By whose measure? Well, it is my right to be crazy, as you love to say so much. I have no shame. I have felt many things in my life, but shame is not among them. You may think that I have an obligation to you, but I assure you that us being thrown together in this arbitrary arrangement does not cohesion make. I have never had less of an obligation to anyone in my life, you aggressively ordinary woman." I thought that was cool. In the end, she decides to leave the residency and go back to her wife, who never replied to her letters for some reason. I would probably give that one a 3.25. I have one more story left. It is Difficult at Parties, and then the book will be finished. Okay, so I read the final book, and I don't get it. I don't know. I think I really just don't get a lot of these books. This one, the woman, I think she'd gone through some sort of traumatic experience, but she was watching all this porn, and then her partner made her go to a party, and she watched a wife and her wife have sex in the cloakroom. I don't know. I don't get pretty much all of the stories in this. I think overall, I'm probably going to rate it a 2.5 stars. It's not for me. The writing's good, but just the stories just make no sense to me. I'm going to quickly read on Goodreads to see maybe somebody else can help me understand the meaning behind these stories, for instance. But yeah, this was a 2.5, so unfortunately not great. But I did enjoy The Witchstone, so that was an absolute win. That was a 4.5 star book and a fun time. It was just a really fun time. I got really invested in the end, so that was great. But yeah, this was surprising considering it's got such a high rating. 3.8 is high, but no. And I will now put up the options for next month's WildOnes Book Club vote. Okay, so let me tell you now about the books that you can vote for the next WildOnes Book Club.
So the first contender we have is A Rose by Any Other Name by Mary McMine. My name has only been whispered heretofore. England, 1591. Rose Rush's passion for life runs deep. She loves mead and music, meddles with astrology, and laughs at her mother's warnings to guard her reputation. When Rose's father dies and a noble accuses her and her friend Cecily of witchcraft, they flee to the household of respected alchemists in London. But as their bond deepens, their sanctuary begins to feel more like a cage. To escape, they turn to the occult, secretly casting charms and selling astrological advice in the hopes of building a life together. The thriving business leads Rose to fair young noble Henry and playwright Will Shakespeare. And so begins a brief, tempestuous, and powerful romance filled with longings and betrayals. In this world of dazzling masks and decadent feasts, where the stars decide futures, Rose will write her own fate instead. So the genre for this one is historical fantasy romance, and it's queer. It's also a retelling, I guess, with the Shakespeare, and the Rose by Any Other Name seems to be a nod to Romeo and Juliet. Then we have Le Fay, which is the second in the Morgan Le Fay series by Sophie Keach. Lady Morgan surveys her life at an unhappy marriage and a vengeful husband determined to keep their son from his queen's clutches, a true love she can't be with, a jealous rival in magician Merlin who has the ear of Morgan's half-brother King Arthur, and strange but wonderful powers of her own she is still exploring. As tensions rise within the castle, happiness seems an impossible dream, until Morgan dares to break the shackles of expectation those around her insist upon. But this path to great joy comes at a terrible cost, and before long, Morgan must understand it's a price to be exacted in rich red blood. Rising from the ashes of desperation, she emerges hard, crystalline, and unforgiving. Now she is Morgan Le Fay, and hate is in her heart. So we're getting her villain story, it seems. Then we have Made for You by Jenna Satterthwaite. Hi, my name is Julia. I'm a synth, and I'm here to find love. Synthetic woman Julia Walden was designed for one reason, to compete on the proposal and claim the heart of bachelor Josh LaSala. Her casting is controversial, but Julia seems to get her fairy tale ending when Josh gets down on one knee. Fast forward 15 months, Julia and Josh are married and raising their baby in small town Indiana. But with haters around every corner, Julia's life is a far cry from the domestic bliss she imagined. Then her splintering world shatters. Josh goes missing and she becomes a prime suspect in his murder. With no one left she can trust, Julia takes the investigation into her own hands. But the explosive truth she uncovers will drive her to breaking point. And isn't that where a person's true nature is revealed? That is, if Julia truly is a person. Told via dual timelines, Jenna Satterthwaite's twist field debut deftly explores the exhilarating point where AI, reality TV, and bone-chilling murder mystery meet. So the genre for this is sci-fi, mystery, thriller, and suspense. And the last option is Begin Again by Helly Acton. Have you ever wanted to change the past and discover the results of choices not taken? In this brilliantly fun novel of what-ifs, missed chances, and new beginnings, Frankie Mackenzie discovers what starting over might bring. Despite living firmly in her comfort zone, Frankie Mackenzie feels unsettled. She can't help feeling something's missing. Is it a home to call her own? Travel? A more rewarding job? A relationship? Before she can work it out, she dies in a freak kebab-related accident after what she sees as yet another dud of a first date. But life isn't over for Frankie. Instead, she is miraculously offered a second chance. Frankie can revisit key moments from her past to see if different choices led to her fulfilling life she always dreamt of. And there are so many opportunities. Should she decide to languidly lounge by warm Mexican waters with sexy Raphael, or say yes to the proposal of earnestly reliable university sweetheart Toby? Perhaps a worry-free gilded cage with Callum is a solution. Soon Frankie will see what her life would have been if she'd caught that one-way flight, accepted the marriage proposal, or attended the intimidating job interview. Will she finally find Mr. Right, or discover she already had? Which way will she turn? What would she change if she could begin again? And this is a romantasy with fantasy and magical realism elements. So those are the options. Do vote for which one you would like to see me read in the next Wild Ones Book Club. And until next time, stay wild, Star Child.